What's up, guys? Kronos here, and welcome back, but this is the first video of this type. So welcome to my kind of mini bouncer guide. Bouncer guide. That sounds like a really bad intro. We're leaving it because part of the reason why, basically I'm actually in the middle of doing a live stream right now. Just figured I want to get these videos out as soon as possible, and it's the easiest way to get these done is just do them while I'm live and then keep on rolling. So no multiple takes, no cuts, extra stuff. We're just gonna talk about this. Basically, I just wanted to get a video of me going through my tree, my talent choices, why I made those choices, why you should choose to make those choices if you want to play the same way I do, or if you want to play differently. One thing to note, I am not a perfect player. This tree is built for my play style. It may not fit for you completely. I would imagine you want to make adjustments in that situation itself. Make changes that are going to work best for you. You may not agree with everything that I choose. That's totally fine. That's the cool thing about these classes, is you can kind of tailor them to the way that you play, what works best for you. But I can ramble on about this. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the tree. So I just have multiple trees. It's because mostly because I screwed up trees before and I just bought extra ones, but also because it's helpful to have multiple trees. Like a 0 crit tree, a crit tree if I want to for crit or whatever. But anyway, this is not going to be a crit build. We're not going to be utilizing like 100% crit. You can build for crit, but this is if people ask for it enough, I can do a build where I'll show you guys a crit build. But this is Bouncer Hunter, main class Bouncer, of course, subclass Hunter, and the focus primarily actually solely on dual blade. Not be using jet boots with this build at all. I had a jet boots build, only ever used jet boots for when Anga showed up, and it was just annoying. Like, it was flat out annoying, and I hated it. So I'm just making a gun slash for when I have to deal with Anga and moving on with my life. So this is primarily just going to be for DB Bouncer. So the cool thing about DB Bouncer is it's not too complicated of a tree to build. You actually have a lot of points left over afterwards, depending upon how you do it. So a couple things of note: elemental PP restorative field and crit field. 2 fields you can take. A lot of bouncers do take them. I personally don't. One, because I'm greedy and I want everything to be for me and I don't really care about everyone else. So, and you know, the crit's not going to really help me out. We're not doing a crit build, so crit field doesn't make any sense. And the elemental PP restorative F really isn't that big a deal if you're keeping your buffs up. If you've got D-band attack up, it's really not a big deal. We'll get down to that. Basically, we're taking 3 points in dex up because we need the trees. Ignore these for now. This will be at later. Of course, pick up dual blades gear. It's important. And I'd recommend at least 3 points in step advance. I'll talk about why a little bit. As we're going down, it's important to next grab your Photon Blade Fever, Photon Blade Beaver Boost, Photon Blade Fever Boost. Wow, I can't talk today. And then Photon Blade Escape afterwards. After that, you want to pop down to your trees. Now, I go and invest into both trees because of the recent changes. I guess not so recent, they're almost a couple months old now, but the changes to the different talent trees, we can actually invest in both break stance and elemental stance. And it's really easy to swap between them now. There's no animation locked swapping stances anymore. It's all on one button. Either you turn on break stance or when you turn off elemental stances on, so it's really nice. And it just overall nets you more damage if you're paying attention to your stances. And because we're not always going to have the proper element, it's kind of why I haven't really bothered with picking up this field. Ooh, excuse me. With picking up this field, because it only works if you're attacking the elemental weakness. And that isn't the case all the time for DB Bouncer. We're not like jet boots where you can change your element on the fly. I mean, technically there is a build where you can with the super special ability, the number 4 for the dual blades, for the Atra dual blades, but that's awful. We're not going to worry about that. Mainly we're picking up just the shift air boosts after that. That's more or less the entire tree. Pretty simple, at least for Bouncer main class. After picking up all of these, Mostly just grabbing, let's see. So yeah, maxing out break stance, grabbing break stance D bonus, taking that because we break stance when we don't have the proper element. So for attacking off element, there's no, so this is a big thing. If there's 0 chance we're going to be attacking the proper element, hop in a break stance. I say 0 chance because elemental stance now does give you 10% power for not the proper stance, or for not attacking the proper weakness. Actually, it's 15%. Whoa, I thought it was only 10. Learn something new every day. Actually, 15%. You gain 15% damage buff, even when you're not attacking the right right element. So it's best to have elemental stance on if there is enemies weak to your actual element in the mix, because you're still going to be dealing that 15% extra damage to the non-weak, or to the ones that aren't weak to the element. And then if there's no chance you'll be hitting it, just swap over to break, have break stance D bonus, which means that there's a 50% chance that your break stance damage buff, which is 45% overall, will still apply. Kind of nice. I mean, it's a good chunk of damage. Other than that, shift to air attack and D-band attack, PP restorative. Arguably, D-band is more important than Shifta, and anyone who watches my streams they know it just triggers me beyond belief. Get someone who's buffing and they don't D-band. It's like, you don't play with the bouncer, give me my D-band. I need my D-band. It's important. I don't care about the defensive buffs, I just want to be able to keep my PP. And it's because of the +5 PP recovery. I never thought it'd make that big a difference. It makes a huge difference since it's per blade tossed out. Outside of that, picking up S attack boost 1 and 2. I had a lot of points left over because I'm not going into any jet boots, so I just dumped them all in step advance. So this game tends to favor fast, short bursts of invincibility. So yes, we do have a very crazy good invincibility when it comes to Photon Blade Escape. I hate it for 2 reasons. One, when you use it, it uses all of your blades, and if your blades aren't going target, you're losing out on potential damage, and I think that sucks having to trade that. So I don't like to use it for those reasons. And 2, it's a very long, flowy animation where you just stop at the end, and if you don't step out of it, you're stuck there for a second. You can't just chain them back to back very, very quickly. It doesn't work that way. You have to use something in between to kind of break it up. Cancel the animation, basically, because there's a pretty big recovery animation on the end. So I opt to toss all my extra points in step advance because I prefer just to step through abilities. Having that extra extended invincibility makes it pretty easy to do that. I'll also go ahead and touch on my my Hunter subtree because I do something a little bit different than most people. With my Hunter subtree, pretty standard. I went 5 points into HP boost. I went 3, 3, and then 10 into attack boost. Not taking anything else, of course. All the rest of the stuff just comes with the tree. Then went in maxed out Just Attack bonus, Just Attack 2 bonus, Fury Stance, Fury Combo, Fury Stance boost 2, and Fury Stance boost 1. Now, the reason I maxed out Fury Combo, I step attack quite a bit, actually. And with Fury Combo, most time you either go to 5 points or you go to maximum because you'll have your maximum bonus after 2 attacks. I want to get my maximum bonus out of 1 attack because I want to step, attack, and then move into the next combo. So I want to get the most out of that attack itself. So I choose to go with Fury Combo to 10. You can choose to go with 5 if you want to move your points around a little bit. Totally fine. It just means you're not getting the most damage you could out of that 1 step attack, but that's how it works best for me. Outside of that, comes down to just the last bit, our utility, just like survivability. Up until I made my Atra weapon, I want to say, I did not take Massive Hunter. I think that was a huge mistake. Now that I have Massive Hunter, fully capped, pretty great. Plus, by proxy, you just get Flash Guard, which is, I think it's, reduced damage from striking in range. Okay, so yeah, that should function even outside of guard stance. But you get Flash Guard, which is kind of nice. Massive Hunter, great ability. You don't get knocked back. You take less damage. It's just, all in all, makes life a lot easier for you. For those abilities that don't have super armor. And for anyone who plays DB Bouncer, and you guys know, the idea is just to not get one shot while you're in the middle of something that kind of locks you down as far as your animation goes, because it happens a lot. Kestrel type 0 locks you down, all that stuff just locks you down pretty hardcore, so you need something. Massive Hunter helps for those moments where you might get killed, because 25% damage reduction's pretty big. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me about this, and it's also kind of a joke on the stream too. Iron Will, 1 point. Yes, I took a single point in Iron Will. Absolutely worth it in my opinion. 1 point gives you 30% proc rate of not dying. Now, after that 1 point, it goes up by like 4%, all the way I think up to 75% for 10 points. Now, granted, if you're going to go 10 points into this, I would recommend dropping it completely out of Automate Half-Line. I would drop out of a bunch of other stuff and go Iron Will and never give up. 100%. Just because getting that S attack bonus when Iron Will does proc is pretty awesome, and having a 75% chance of not dying, also pretty awesome. But with Automate Half-Line and the weapon that I use, death doesn't really happen for me. I'm not counting on that 75% chance of surviving a fatal hit. If I'm going to die, 30% is enough for me to maybe survive. Outside of that, I had an extra point, so I put it in Warcry just for utility. That way I can pull things off of towers and tower defense, and that's just how it worked. Also note, taking step advance here does not increase your ability step. It takes whatever the highest tree's ability step is and uses that. So putting a point here wouldn't be like having 10 points overall. It would just be 9 points that I had there, and then a point. So they're that pretty much covers the tree the way that I use it. The reasons for picking everything. I don't think is there anything else notable that could go with. Of course, Fury Critical if you're going with a crit build, but we don't do that. And that's mostly it, really, is when it comes to dual blade balancers. It's pretty simple. I don't think I mentioned this, but grab just reversal PP gain, because I mean, how can I put this? To say you're not going to get hit as a bouncer, pretty rare. You're probably going to take a couple hits. You're going to get knocked back. You're going to get knocked down. That's just part of the course. You don't have a lot of ways of dodging everything. It's more so just dealing with the incoming damage. Maybe you're a pro bouncer. Maybe you don't need it. You don't get use out of this. But that's why these trees are up. It's up to your. I will say if you do decide to go with these fields, taking these two fields, they have the same cooldown, and field remain does help out. It leaves them on other people as well as yourself. It doesn't say so in the tooltip. I remember last time I tested, unless it's been changed recently, it also remained on you for the extra couple seconds, which was kind of nice. I believe it stays up to, let's say 5 to 10 seconds. I haven't tested in a while because I haven't used these fields in a long time. But if you're grabbing these two fields, it's a good idea to go ahead and grab field remain. I'd argue if you grab those two fields, I probably would take D-band attack restorative if you have enough that you're attacking elements all the time, because that's just an overflow of PP. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this helped you guys out. When it comes to trees, I know there's not a lot of information when it comes to class trees and why people pick things. That's probably my biggest pet peeve, is seeing trees, like why people set up these trees, but no one really talks about why they picked specific abilities, what it benefited to them. Because that's the biggest thing, is if you're picking abilities and you're not using them. For example, if I'm grabbing Shifta and D-band and I'm never actually shifting D-banding myself, like my bouncer, I have the adrenaline ring that makes it so my shift and D-bands last longer on me. My ally shift and D-bands last longer on me as well. I'm consistently keeping buffs up on myself to make use out of that. But if I didn't do that and I didn't have that ring and I didn't do those things and I didn't play with people who actually shift and D-band me, those points would be wasted. There'd be no point in having them. So it's up to you, your playstyle, and how you're going about it, if those points are going to be worth it for you. Hopefully this helped give you guys an idea of how to build your characters. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you have any concerns, if you have any builds, hey, you found that this works better for me, you should consider trying out this. I try builds all the time. My chat knows is I change my build probably like 3 or 4 times. Recently I made this weapon, caused me to change my entire build. Something a little bit more defensive because of double-edged sword. I take 8% extra damage, and I don't want to get one shot. So I have a ton of health, and I also have more defensive options as well. But yeah, guys, I'm not going to ramble on for too much longer. You have a stream to also take care of, to patiently waiting and hanging out. But thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next one. That was like exactly a 15-minute